What's up, everybody? I'm Jesse Showalter, and welcome to the very first episode of the No Code Corner, sponsored by Bravo Studio. This is a new series all about the no-code and the low-code movement that's allowing makers like you to create web applications and mobile applications without that barrier of entry of back-end development. We're going to be talking about all sorts of things: theories, principles, workflows, techniques, tools, and all sorts of no-code awesomeness. Stick around. It's episode 1. Let's hit it. All right, first thing I'd love to do today is talk about 3 major barriers of entry that the no-code revolution has completely smashed, and it's allowing makers just like you to create things like they've never been able to before. The 3 big barriers of entry that used to stop us from creating and making and putting our vision of something out into the world for people to use. The first one is time. Time is the most precious commodity you have. You can always go make more money, but you can't make more time. It used to be that if you wanted to build an application and you wanted to learn yourself how to do it, you had to spend days, hours, weeks, months, years of time learning how to build this application. No longer do you need to learn entire languages, entire processes, how to get your app from A to Z. You just need to learn the framework, the basics of what these applications have built. And so, for instance, I built an application in a single weekend. Design, development, launching it into both of the native application stores, both the Google Play Store and the iOS App Store. And it's there. You can download it right now. I'll put a link in the description if you like board games. But it knocks out of the park the idea that you don't have the time, that you never have the time, or that there's this tumultuous climb to make to overcome and learn. Time is now on your side. Barrier number 2 that the no-code revolution has started to just knock down and stomp on is the barrier of money and resources. It used to be that if you wanted to build an application, if you were really passionate about something and you yourself didn't have that knowledge or time to build it yourself, you needed to find yourself a technical co-founder, or you needed to go out and hire an engineering team and spend tons of money, raise your own capital, hope that it all worked out as you communicated with them, and that it actually went the right way. And so there was this huge dump of money, this huge dump of resources to actually get from nothing to something that kind of works, an MVP, a minimum viable product. Not anymore. A lot of these applications, a lot of these tools, processes might cost a monthly fee. Some of them are cheap, some of them are free, and you're able to create an application, get it up and running so quickly, so cheap. And again, I would have never built my board game application if it cost me $40,000, $50,000. But it cost me $60, a couple of cups of coffee, and a strong weekend of work, and I had that thing up and running. It's crazy, it's amazing, and it's breaking down that barrier of time and now money as well. The last barrier to entry, I think, is the biggest one. It's the most crushing one, and that is the barrier of the intimidation. The fact that you don't know how to code, you don't know how to design, you don't know how to get things into the App Store, you've never done anything technical, but you have a fantastic idea. You have a solution, a better mousetrap, a great idea that could solve somebody's problem, but the intimidation factor is so high. It's so huge and massive. It's such an alien industry and concept to a lot of people that they just kick up their heels and walk away and leave their idea to rust in the field. And it's so sad because there's so many smart people that have amazing ideas that are intimidated. And you know what? The no-code industry, the no-code revolution is absolutely smashing down this idea that you can't do it. Now the no-code revolution is saying, yes, you can. You can do it. And there will always be somebody out there going, yeah, but it's not real code. Yeah, but you didn't do it yourself. Yeah, but it's out there. And so get away with all of that intimidation, with all of that condemnation, with all that ridiculous drama and trash talk, and say, I feel like building something and I have the ability to do it. The tools are now at my fingertips. They're made available to me. There's no barriers to entry anymore. You can start building what you want to build. With all that being said, I want to introduce you to a brand new friend of mine who I got to interview recently, who is an up and coming no-code application builder. His name's Jonas. I think you're going to get a kick out of the interview. Let's jump into it. All right, everybody, I'm here with Jonas Schneed, who is my guest of the day. Jonas, how you doing, man?
I'm fine, thank you.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm a media design student from Germany. I've been developing apps for 1 year now. It's been like over a year where I discovered Bravo. And since then I've been just trying to figure everything out and also combining it with some other tools.
So, okay, so you built an app using Bravo Studio called Dagny. Give me a quick description. What is Dagny? What does it do?
It's actually in Swedish because a Swedish nonprofit organization reached out to me and they wanted to have an app built for elderly people. So people that live in retirement homes and they basically don't have any connection to get these digital competences when it comes to smartphones. So this app was to educate elderly people on buying train tickets with their phones through the internet and stuff like that.
Very cool. Really cool. Okay, so what would you say, like, it seems like there's a lot going on in the app. There's a couple different tabs, but what's the app's core feature? Like, what's the main thing that you would say that it does?
I think the core feature would be the interactive guides where you have screenshots of the different steps that are necessary, for example, to buy a train ticket. And then there's always the element highlighted that you have to click on. So you can then basically go through that like a slider.
Cool. Very cool. So when they reached out to you, what made you want to build this app? What made you say to yourself, I could do that? Like, what had you created stuff like this before and this was just like, you felt confident, or was there a little bit of a learning process involved in this as well?
It was basically my first real project, especially for a client. So it was just like, I was excited to get started and have something real published. I did some sample projects before that, but the app seemed pretty simple with, like I said, the slider, and the learning curve was definitely still there because I had to get into backend tools, like I said earlier, just to make this function correctly. And also we have built an iOS and an Android version. And as you know, iOS stuff looks a little different than Android stuff. So we basically have content for different types of devices. So one might not get confused. And I think that was like the trickiest part, to have this content management system.
What was your thought process about building an application before? Like, let's rewind. Let's say hypothetically 5 years ago, somebody would have come to you and said, we need you to build us an iOS and an Android application. What would your thought process have been? What would your response have been for them?
Yeah, never. I would have never thought like I could even get this close. I had to look at some basic coding tutorials before. So I also had some coding in high school, which never like got me anywhere. But once I discovered Bravo, and also, this whole concept of APIs was new to me. But once I understood that, it was way easier.
Yeah, that's insane, right? Like, just the explosion of no-code tools in the last, I'm going to say 2 years, 3 years, and especially in the last like 6 months has been insane, right? Just the tool sets that are created for makers like you and me, who are maybe, we don't fluently speak like Android Studio or Swift or Xcode, but we have an idea, right? We have a motivation and a drive. We want to make something. It's just broken down all those barriers, which I think is so interesting about this movement. Bravo Studio, I think obviously like leading the way, like a really easy process when I got my application up, and sounds like a similar thing for you. Last question for you before you go, Jonas, is how is building and starting to build no-code applications like this in Bravo, how has it opened up your eyes? Do you think differently about problem solving? Like, if somebody comes to you with a project, is there a little less fear or anxiety? Are you like, yeah, we could take care of that? What's your thought process like now?
I think it definitely changed how I think. I now think more in problems and solutions. So I see, okay, I have this problem, and how can I articulate what I want to do? And then the implementing it into something functional is way easier now.
Yeah, I think I agree wholeheartedly, like 100%. Like, I think more now about ideation, about possibilities, about articulating my ideas, and less about the restraints of tools, because there's been this vast like expansion of the breaking down of those barriers that allows me just to go, this is actually what people are paying for. People really want my problem solving skills, and they don't want my knowledge of this certain tag or this line of code. They want me to make something for them, not know a tool, right? Nobody pays a carpenter to know like all the details of a hammer. They pay them to build the house, right? They just happen to need the hammer. And so this is what that, in my opinion, this is like for guys like you and me, it's what it's allowed us to do is say, I don't need to know how a hammer's made. I just need to build the house with it. So it's great. Jonas, thanks for joining me for the interview. And thanks for just congratulations on launching your first app, not only your first app, but your first like client paying project. And it's a successful one. So I hope all the success for you in the world in the future in building your applications. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Jonas. If he can build applications like Dagny and I can build a board game application using no-code tools, then you can too. What's cooking in your brain? What do you want to build? What do you want to make? It's totally possible. Remember, the barriers to entry have been completely smashed down, so nothing stands in your way. I want to say thanks again to the sponsor of this show. That's Bravo Studio, an amazing no-code building application that I use to build my app. You can find a link to it down in the description. Just check it out. You'll absolutely love it. It's free to get started. Watch the series, follow along, build your own thing. Try Bravo Studio. I highly recommend it. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I make lots of videos about design and development and no-code tools just like this video. So make sure you stay tuned by hitting that thumbs up, subscribe button, and the little bell notification so you know when the next video in this series comes out. I hope you guys are having an amazing week. I hope you're designing amazing things. I hope you're making amazing things. And I hope that you're not letting anything stand in your way, that you see the barriers of entry have been smashed down and they're ready for you to bring your idea to life. I'll see you in the next one.